Hello and welcome back to another one of my FPL videos. I of course am the FPL train, and in this video I'm going to reveal my team selection ahead of game week 22 in a week where I only have one free transfer, and I'm not going to lie, I'm not looking forward to this game week, if I'm being honest. There's quite a few players I do fancy changing. Obviously still got as well the transfer market currently open. That doesn't close until after the deadline, so it's really frustrating on what to do with this game week. I'm leaning towards rolling just because game week 23 is literally going to be a few days later after game week 22, so it's not like we'll have to wait long until game week 23. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to game week 22 at all. But anyways, before we go through all that, let's look back on game week 21, which you can already see on screen anyway, and just look at how I got on in that game week. So then, as you can see on the screen then, I did score 59 points in total, and I've got to be happy with that, to be fair. I got a tiny green arrow, but a green arrow nevertheless. Literally just before the Wolves game against Brighton, I was actually on for a red arrow, so thankfully Estupiñán got the 8 points. He was my only transfer for this game week, so it did work out pretty nicely for me in that sense. So yeah, those 8 points really did save me from getting a red arrow, thankfully. And obviously Gabriel really did absolutely smash it for me this game week. But anyways, let's talk about the goalkeepers first then. So starting us off, both Areola and Debraca did get me 3 points each. Obviously Debraca's on my bench, so nothing there. And Areola, it could have been 2 points, it could have been more if he saved the penalty at the end, but he did go off at the end, conceding the penalty, which was a bit unfortunate if I'm being honest. But still, he went off, so he wasn't able to even go for it, save it, or if it did go past him, he would have ended up with 2 points anyway. But yeah, I was actually kind of expecting a clean sheet from him, if I'm being honest. It was Sheffield United, but 3 points to 3 points, the same exactly as Debraca, so I can't really complain. It's not like I made the wrong decision there. With my defence then, so I left Trippier on the bench because obviously he had Man City, who got me 1 point, and Charlie Taylor didn't play due to an injury, which I was expecting anyway, so I got nothing from him, so that doesn't matter. So the 3 defenders I did start, Dizazi, Estupiñán and Gabriel, worked out an absolute perfect treat for me. I think my defence did pretty much save me this game week, I'm not going to lie. All 3 of them managed to get me, a clean sheet. So Dizazi got the clean sheet. Bit annoyed that he did get the yellow card towards the end of the game yet again, but 1-0 win for Chelsea meant he got a nice clean sheet. I'll definitely be taking that. Obviously Chelsea don't get clean sheets very often. I did say last time they played for him they got a clean sheet, and they got another one, so happy days. Obviously Estupiñán got the clean sheet against Wolves, really happy with that, and he got 2 bonus points as well. He's taken corners as well for Brighton now he's back, which is very interesting, so I'm really happy with that as well. So hopefully a better chance of getting even more points there, so happy with those 8 points. And Gabriel absolutely smashed it there, 17 points, 1 goal. Should have been 2 really. I mean, it was classed as 2 originally, but went down to 1. So yeah, it was 1 goal, 1 assist, clean sheet, and obviously he got 2 bonus points in the end. It was going to be 3. Obviously he went off injured, well, with a knock. I mean, we yet to see what's going to happen with that. And obviously Martinelli annoyingly got 2 goals right at the end and took the extra bonus point off him. But nevertheless, really happy with that. If you've got obviously Saliba, he only got 6 points, but Gabriel got 17, which is 11 points on him. So I'm really happy with that. He absolutely smashed it for me this game week. Love it. It feels amazing when your defender scores because he absolutely crushes it that week. But yeah, happy with that. Palmer, now he was the first guy to play this game week, and I wasn't so sure if I wanted to go for the gamble early in my captaincy, but it failed miserably because obviously he played really well yet again. He's been amazing this season. Obviously got the goal against Fulham. It was that long ago now. It's like 2 weeks ago. But yeah, he got the goal against Fulham, got the 3 bonus points. I've got to be happy with that. So yeah, can't complain there. It's just a shame he wasn't my captain. Phil Foden did blank, which is frustrating, to be honest. Really frustrating. I was kind of hoping, he'd get something, especially because Man City did score the 3 goals. But it was the Kevin De Bruyne show that week. So unfortunately, he only got 2 points. He did play the full game, even with De Bruyne on the pitch, which is, good news for me. But yeah, it's just unfortunate he didn't get anything. But Newcastle, despite how bad they've been, they are a tough side. Saka, I mean, that game was really frustrating. 5-0 Arsenal won, 5-0. Obviously, if that second goal, Gabriel did go in as his goal, it would have been a Saka assist as well. So not only did I lose a goal for Gabriel, I then lost an assist for obviously Saka, which would have doubled my points there. So I would have had even more points. I would have had pretty much similar amount of points as Palmer, but yeah, it didn't unfortunately happen. So just got the 6 points. It was a blank, so it's unfortunate really. And then obviously Douglas Luiz should have had a penalty in that game, Aston Villa, which was really frustrating. Obviously he would have took it. Didn't happen, so I only got 3 points from him, but frustrating. He should have had a penalty. Well, Aston Villa should have had a penalty. Didn't happen. So yeah, he blanked as well. And then the strikers, oh, I mean, yeah, all 3 of them just blanked, I'm afraid. So yeah, like I said, Watkins, yeah, just got the 1 point, which is frustrating. Obviously, he got a yellow card in that game, so another blank from him. Hopefully, he can turn his form around soon. Kind of expected a goal against Everton, but yeah, just the 1 point. Alvarez, like I mentioned before, Man City scored 3 goals, and both my Man City players blanked. Neither of them got an assist or anything, so that was frustrating. And Solanke, I mean, it was going to be a tough game against Liverpool, let's face it, but I thought with it being at home, they would have had a good chance of at least getting a goal. Not maybe winning, but getting a goal, but it wasn't to be. Unfortunately, he did blank, and obviously only got the 2 points. But, you know, 59 points and a green arrow, you can't complain. It's what it's all about. So, yeah, I've got to be happy with that because it was looking bad until, obviously, the Brighton game. And thankfully, I ended with a green arrow. And with all that being done then, let's look at my team selection for game week 22. And so far in goal, I have got Areola starting for me. Now, we don't know if he's going to play yet. I mean, obviously, we've got the FA Cup this weekend, so it'd be interesting to see if he does play in that game. Obviously, we'll find out more team news by then, whether Areola will start. But it doesn't matter anyway, even if he is starting for me and he doesn't play. Because I've got the Bracker on the bench. And obviously, if Areola doesn't play, I'll have the Bracker playing, who's got Aston Villa away, which is a much tougher fixture than Areola. He's got Bournemouth at home. But Bournemouth are no scrubs. Let's face it, they're a good team. Solanke's a great striker. So, in terms of keeping a clean sheet with my goalkeepers, I'm not actually confident at all. And I think both of them will blank this game week. But I'm just going for Areola because he's at home. And obviously, Aston Villa are a top 4 team at the minute. So then with my defenders, I'm going for a back 3 yet again. Made 1 change though to the back 3. So obviously, Taylor's going to stay on the bench. Obviously, even if he's fit, I'm not having him against Man City away. You're having a laugh. But Dizazi, I am going to be dropping him in this game week, even though he did keep a clean sheet against Fulham in the last game week. But there's no chance in how I'm going to be starting him against Liverpool at Anfield. Especially with the news we got today that Jurgen Klopp is going to be leaving Liverpool at the end of the season. So there's going to be a lot of emotion at Anfield now to the end of the season. So there's no chance in how I'm having any defenders against those Liverpool attackers right now. So that does mean then Kieran Trippier is coming in for me this game week. He also does have a tough fixture though. He's against Aston Villa at Villa Park. That is not a nice fixture at all. I'm just hoping that he might get, obviously, that attacking return that he's not had for quite some time now. But you never know. He could score a free kick, perhaps get across, so get an assist that way. You never know, Trippier. Something could happen, so I'm going to have to gamble Trippier. But you never know, though. He could still leave as well. That is also the issue I've got. Bayern Munich have been really interested in this transfer window. But Eddie Howe said today in his press conference he doesn't expect him to leave. So fingers crossed that does happen because I don't want to make that transfer. Especially because Newcastle's fixtures going forward are going to look really nice. They're coming to the end of that miserable run and they're going to be having a nice run. And I would ideally like Trippier for that run. So hopefully he doesn't leave and he does play against Aston Villa this game week. Obviously got Estupiñán alongside him. He's got Luton away. Nice fixture for him. Obviously away is not ideal, but you know it is going to be Luton. Back-to-back clean sheets for Brighton. Can they make it 3? Let's hope so. And let's hope he continues to take corners as well. Because obviously Brighton, they do have Big Dunk at the back who can obviously get a header in and score some goals from the corners from an Estupiñán cross. So fingers crossed that does happen. I don't expect a clean sheet to be honest because it is away. But, you know, there is a better chance than he has got than Trippier. But hopefully he does get a clean sheet. And even better if he gets in a goal or assist. That'd be beautiful. And then finally I've got Gabriel. Obviously he had that knock against Crystal Palace. Went off early. Obviously, like with a lot of these teams with the FA Cup, we'll find out some more news before, obviously, the deadline. I'm praying to God that he does, obviously, start against Forest. I do think he can get a clean sheet. Arsenal are more than capable of keeping a clean sheet against Forest. And obviously the way the new Forest boss plays, they are going to be a bit more rigid, less attacking if anything. So that will work in Arsenal's favour, I reckon. And I do think he can keep a clean sheet, providing he starts. So really hoping that he does start, to be honest. Because I don't want to be forced to make a transfer this game week. Onto my midfielders now. It's the same 4-man midfield as it was before. Obviously Son is still out in the Asia Cup. They are now in the knockout round. So on the deadline day as well it is. He will be playing against Saudi Arabia in the first knockout round. So fingers crossed South Korea go out. Saudi Arabia, no scrubs. They did beat Argentina the other year in the World Cup. So you never know. Stranger things have happened. I do kind of expect him to go through there, if I'm being honest. But you never know. Hopefully, I mean, if he does get knocked out, obviously against Saudi Arabia, he would be available for game week 23. But I don't think that's going to happen, if I'm being honest. But just saying, he is going to be out for this game week. So that means it's going to be the same 4-man midfield. Starting as our Phil Foden, currently down as my captain. Now, that's going to stay, I reckon, till the deadline. It's going to be interesting to see how this weekend goes. Obviously, the FA Cup, Pep Guardiola said Haaland, I'm pretty sure he said he's not going to be starting in the FA Cup. It's going to be interesting to see if he's in the squad. If he's not in the squad at all, I don't really have to worry about making a transfer for Erling Haaland this game week, because obviously I'm not expecting to play against Burnley. But for now, Phil Foden is going to be my captain against Burnley. Obviously, De Bruyne is back as well, but even with De Bruyne back, I still think Phil Foden will start for Man City. And I do expect him to score probably a goal against Burnley, if I'm being honest. I've gone for him ahead of Alvarez just because he's a midfielder. And I don't expect Burnley to score a single goal. So let's say they do blank, at least I'll get a couple of extra points having Phil Foden. I do expect this to be like a 5-0, if I'm being honest as well, just because of the way Company plays. He doesn't seem to have a clue when it comes to plan B, and I think Man City will run them riot, if I'm being honest. Fingers crossed that does happen, because it would be nice to have a Phil Foden haul, if I'm being honest. Got Saka alongside him. Been a bit disappointing for me, if I'm being honest. I don't know why his price keeps going up, because it's always, every time the game finishes, I mean, obviously Arsenal are doing really well, but as an FPL side, it's just a bit like, he's done okay, I guess. It's been a long time, I think, since Saka's really hauled like the rest of them. So yeah, hopefully he does against Forest. I'm not going as captain, and I won't have him as captain, but I do expect Arsenal to win. Whether Saka will score, I'm not 100% confident, but I do think he can get an assist in this game. Palmer's going to be starting for me. I mean, he could get a goal. I'm not confident, if I'm honest. I mean, it would have been really nice, to be honest, if Son was available for this game week so I could start him instead, but that is not the case, I'm afraid. But, you know, Palmer, you never know. He could get a goal against Liverpool. I'm not actually that confident. Hey, if Chelsea somehow get a cheeky penalty, he will take it, and there's a good chance he will score. So, hopefully that happens. And then finally, I mean, Douglas Luiz. I have not got much confidence, to be fair, you know, but he's had a good season this season. Hopefully it continues. Newcastle at home. Tough fixture. Hopefully he can do something. But if I'm being honest, I'm not really that confident, to be fair. So finally, onto my strikers now. It's going to be the same front three that it was last week. Hopefully it'll be a lot better than it was last week, though. So Ollie Watkins got Newcastle at home. Now, obviously, last time these two played each other in the league, Newcastle absolutely destroyed them at St. James's Park. Hopefully, Ollie Watkins can return the favour and get a load of goals, but I'm not 100% confident. Obviously, both Newcastle and Watkins are in a bit of bad form right now. I mean, Watkins hasn't actually scored now since game week 17 against Brentford, so it's been a while. Hopefully he can finally break that duck, but he is one of the players that's on my chopping board that I fancy getting rid of sooner rather than later, if I'm being honest. But it's a bit difficult because obviously next game week 23 he's got Sheffield United away, and then after that it continues to be a good run for Villa. So it's a bit frustrating because I want to get rid of him, but I can't because he's got such a good run, and if he does go and he goes in this amazing run, my rank's going to plummet because everybody owns Ollie Watkins. So I've got to keep him, even though I want to get rid of him at the same time. But hopefully he breaks his duck against, obviously, Newcastle and he finally gets a goal. Alvarez is playing against Burnley. Again, I expect him to score, if I'm being honest, if he plays. Obviously, we still don't know yet if Erling Haaland will play in that game. Obviously, if I find out news before the deadline that Haaland will start, I will make the transfer and take out Alvarez or Slanky. A bit undecided, to be honest. I'm probably actually going to lean towards taking Slanky out and then bring in Haaland that way and then have triple up on Man City attackers. But it's tough because obviously because Kevin De Bruyne is back, does that mean Alvarez now be on the bench? So that's another thing I've got to really consider, because obviously after this game week, Solanke's got 2 decent fixtures to be fair to him. So it's really tough one. So either Alvarez or Solanke will go for Erling Haaland. So I do have plenty of money in the bank. I've got 9.6 million in the blank. So I can take either one of them out and bring in Erling Haaland. But like I said, we'll have to wait till the deadline. But if Alvarez is starting, for sure, I'd want him for Burnley at home. And finally, that leaves me with Solanke, who's got obviously West Ham away. Tough fixture, to be fair. He's blanked the last couple of league games. He did just score, though, in the FA Cup last night. So hopefully he'll score now against us. Or I was going to say Aston Villa, West Ham. Same colours, I suppose. But yeah, hopefully he does score against West Ham. It's going to be a tough game. Hopefully, though, he does get a goal, penalty, something. Just give him something to obviously score a goal. Because he's been great for me this season. Hopefully he continues. But, you know, this could be the last game week for him if he does obviously blank. I know he has 2 decent fixtures against Forest and Fulham, but then it's Newcastle and Man City. And I fancy having Pedro in my team. I'm not going to lie. Pedro and Haaland are 2 strikers that I fancy. And Ivan Toney as well. He's another player that I really do like to have in my team. And obviously, because Man City and Brentford both have double game weeks coming up, and obviously Brentford don't have the blank in game week 29, Toney's very desirable to have in your teams right now. So yeah, it's a real headache to have, especially because, you know, Solanke's done so well for me this season. Do I want to get rid of him? But that is something I'm considering, taking out Solanke. But I don't think anything will happen until game week 23. This is possibly going to be my team unless I found out some news about Erling Haaland, about whether he'll start or not against Burnley. That's the only thing that I'll change to my team, bringing in Haaland. Whether it be for Alvarez or Solanke, I'm still not confident, but we'll have to see. So then, that will be my team for game week 22. Let me know what you think of this team. Let me know what your teams are going to be for game week 22. And let me know what you think I should do for this game week. Don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one.